Okay, just a quick little ramp up on audio. A lot of people have been having some issues with the audio in Maya. There are some technical issues that are associated with some of that, but there are some quick fixes. Um, the first thing to do is to make sure that Maya is set to the project folder that you want to be working in. It's not project window, but set project, and then go and locate the folder that you would be working in. So I'm going to do that right now, and let's see, where am I? There I am, and for us, for me at least, it's right in here. So I set this, boom, and then when I go to open my scene, I should see my scene, here, type of thing. So I'm just going to open this one up as an example, okay, and let this load. Sorry for the delay, but that's Maya. Alright, so this is a student's work right now that's having some issues, so I decided to use it as an example. With the dialogue, once you know what track you want to be using, it's not best to just drag your dialogue track in at that point. What I would do is make sure that you have your dialogue track in the production folder that you're working from. Okay, in this particular case I'm working from this, so you have a sound folder here. Just make sure that your sound clip, whichever clip that you're actually using, in this case this person is using beautiful wave, so I want to make sure that that is actually brought into this folder. Okay, so I'm just going to open up a second folder here so I can drop it in real easy. Grab that wave and drop it in. This should actually be done ahead of time, so I'm kind of working around, and I wouldn't necessarily trust that file is going to be there now, because Maya reads stuff when it opens, but we can go ahead and give it a shot and see what happens here. If I go to sound, that beautiful track is denoted in here. If I turn that on, it popped up and I hear dialogue. So it's reading it. It's okay. I would go ahead and save at this point before you do anything else. But again, get everything set up normally. Make sure you take your sound clip, put it in your sound folder, then set your project, open Maya just to be safe, okay, and then run from there. Okay, now there's a couple other things that you can do just to make sure that things are working properly. Double check and make sure that your scene is set to 24 frames per second and that your time slider is set to real time 24 so you can hear your audio. You can also take your height of your timeline up to 4. That will allow you to see the wave a little bit clearer, so you can see the accent marks and where it's quiet and stuff, and that can help. And I usually put my keyticks up just a little bit so that I can actually see them on the timeline. If they're keyframes in there, you can actually see where those hit. When it's at 1, they're there, but maybe you want to see what would be happening here. If you have any reference or anything like that you're making use of, you can burn a time code on that. You could turn on your time code as well, so you can see that and work with that to kind of sync things up if you wanted. But that's the basic things there to start with. Okay, now doing the playback and the output. If you have QuickTime Pro 7, you most likely will not have an issue with making a play blast out and the audio embedding properly. However, I have run into a couple of problems here and there, so not sure where the difficulty comes and where the bug is kind of showing up. If you have problems with the audio wave, you can always take the wave file and convert it into an AIFF with like iTunes or something like that, and then work with the AIFF file, which is Maya, or not Maya's, but Apple's native audio format, so that may help with some of the issues. But again, I've had some issues with that with people, so I'm still trying to nail down the technical issues of why it's all occurring the way it is, but there are some workarounds, and I want to talk to you about them real quick. So that's the first thing to do within Maya, just to get things set up and start working with an audio track. Okay, you should always let the track play through all the way through, so that it queues up the whole track, and then you can start to work with it a little bit more effectively and a little bit more stable. Then the other thing was, whenever you make your play blast, instead of using QuickTime in order to put out the image, I always usually go render from render settings, because then everything's set up, in my render my render globals as far as the resolution and everything. I set that, but if you change this from the format from Qt to image, what that's going to do is use fcheck as its native player, right? Maya is fcheck's native player. And so whenever you make your play blast, it should run through that. In this case, it's spitting out IFS because that's what the default has been set at. And what it will do is open up fcheck for you. And you should hear your audio in here. If you don't hear the audio in here, then you've got one of those, a scenario where you just turn off this every frame, okay? And then listen for the playback. And if you're not hearing it here, which in this case I am actually not hearing it here, the AIFF may work, may not work. If this is not a solution for you, then one of the things that you can do, okay, is, and I'm going to do this right now, I'm going to turn off this one, and I'm going to import quickly the beautiful AIFF. And then I'm going to set that to this beautiful one, which is the new one, and try that again. Okay. Okay, and now I'm actually hearing it. Okay, so you can try the AIFF. In this particular case, it's working for me in fcheck. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can hit your space bar to stop that. Oops, I turned it into black and white there. You can save as a movie, and you can save out from here. Give it a name, save it to your desktop, and then you can open it up and compress it at a quick time 10. Hopefully everything will go good at that point. Okay, so that's the first solution. I'll be back in just a minute with the second solution, which is a little bit more lengthy as far as what you have to do, but in production you can set things up like that all the time, especially if you're doing the whole production yourself. And I hope it'll be helpful for you, and at least definitely a solution if this doesn't work for you. Okay, take care. Be back in a minute.